talking about the good, bad, ugly, the rawness, the hardness, everything about
Yes, yes.
what it is to like be an entrepreneur and um, be in that discomfort and how do you stay in it or how do you grow through it? Basically, grow through it.
Yeah. And like, yeah, and I feel like it's a lot of like almost maneuvering through it, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I think that that's what a lot of people are dealing with right now because it's just such a time of change, you know, and transformation. And I think we're all feeling it. So, happy Fempreneur Friday, everyone. And
Yes.
let
Hello.
me open up with a quote. I'm going to pull from this affirmation deck. It's called Money and the Law of Attraction cards, and these are by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I don't know if you guys have read their books, but we recommend them, and they are on our book list. And okay, so this affirmation card is called I Can Earn Money by Doing What I Love to Do.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, as you practice more positive, better feeling stories, in time, your pleasure will become the dominant vibration within you. And then, as you couple your pleasure with your means of earning, the two will blend perfectly and enhance each other. There is no better way to earn money than to do the things you love to do. Money can flow into your experience through endless avenues. It is not the choice of the craft that limits the money that flows, but only your attitude towards money. I thought
Ooh.
that was profound. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
I think
deep.
you pulled that for me.
Yeah. I know, like I felt that way too. I read it yesterday. I was like, I need to read this tomorrow
Yeah.
in Fempreneur Friday. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I think that that is a huge, you know, part of growth, just like
Yeah.
your money mindset and like, you know, just how you grow through that and flow through that and move through that.
Yeah.
To me, that's like something that I've definitely like, you know, been working on or feel like it's like kind of just, you know, just like a constant hurdle and just making sure that I'm not, you know, just pulling things, past experiences from the past and
Yeah.
like, you know, just like going over the past in my head or like going through mental loops of the past in my head instead of like being in the now and like being present and really like trying to bring into the future, you know, like that which I envision. And I feel like, I don't know, for me, that's personally like what I've been growing through this week. And like, I just think that growth in general is really like uncomfortable, like super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I think that when you make a conscious
Hi,
choice
Indica.
to, no
Uh-huh.
matter what the discomfort, you know, just try to like be in high frequency, you know, every
Mm.
day, or try to just like push through that resistance like a little bit more each day, or like try to just do that one consistent thing, you know, each day. I think it's like important and it helps you like flow through and maneuver through growth, you know?
Yeah. I guess we can talk about examples of what we do when we're feeling like huh, knocked down, really.
Yeah.
Knocked down and then the opportunity to expand, right?
Right.
Um, I think it could be similar to what we were kind of chatting about last time about like, for me, most recently what happened was like, I was given this big opportunity that ended up like not being available anymore. And during that time, it's uncomfortable and it feels, well, for me, it just took me into like a down, like, oh my God, just as excited as I was, it took me to the flip side, which was like, I was so sad about not getting that position. But during that time of just like sadness, like real deep sadness, I just decided to like, okay, how can I move through this in a way that's actually going to make me stronger?
Right.
And we have two choices, right? To just shame our sadness, like shame ourselves for being there, or figuring out like, okay, how can I have this help me actually move? You know,
Right.
how can I move through this?
Right.
And for me, I think the biggest thing for me was looking at it like, okay, what is it? What are some areas that it's trying to teach me? Like the first thing that it taught me was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so quickly going to this thing outside of myself that I thought was going to save the day, save me
Oh my
from,
God, that's so key. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
save me from the world, like gonna validate who I am, gonna put me down as successful, all of these things that were outside of myself. And sometimes we're so interested in the results, like we think that this thing is gonna make us, oh, sorry, this thing is gonna make us, you know, everything. It's gonna solve all of our problems, or we get excited about like what's gonna happen when we reach 100,000. What's gonna
A, B,
happen
or
when we get
C.
that
Yep.
big sponsorship, right? We're
Yep.
happy for like a day, right?
Right.
Or maybe a week.
Right.
And
Because
then
such is
like,
like the human condition, you know?
right, right.
But yeah,
So it's
no, I
like
feel the
coming
same
back
way.
to, yeah, figuring out for yourself, like along the way, what's really your purpose, what's really driving you, what's really keeping you at that frequency that Brett's talking about, like every day. So that was
Yeah.
something recent for me. What about you, Brett?
No, I think that that's like completely valid and super important because that's what I was talking about, you know, money mindset and everything, because it's like, it's, you know, it's the same thing. Like you have to, I think, just really, really, and just for just, even if you're just like trying to grow to a place where you're just happy or you,
Kind of freezing up a little bit. Oh no. Brett, are you on Wi-Fi or are you on 5G? Um, it could be me. So if you're still seeing the live, let us know. Just checking in to see if you guys can still view. Oh no. Okay. So Brett is not on, but we're gonna wait for her to come back because I think we can still save this same recording. But just wanted to kind of pick up from where we left off. So that was one of the things that I looked at. Brett, if you're back, if you can request to join again. Oh, there we go. My bad. Okay. So, so yeah, that's one of the things. The second thing that I noticed is just like where it's showing me that I've had other instances in the past that look similar. You know, so for me, when I didn't get some of the communication around there, I noticed how hard it was for me to like bounce back because like I have sometimes a hard time with letting something go, or in my opinion, it was like if I was being ghosted. So, you know, it just showed me other areas where I get triggered, and then how can I reference this part of like getting triggered and just getting stronger in that area. So
yeah.
anyway, while you hopped away, I just was like, okay, well, what's another thing that it showed me? And yeah, that's something else.
Yeah. And I think that that's like, I don't know, I've just in talking with friends, you know, this week, etc. Yeah, I really realized like this is something that a lot of people are going through and moving through
Yeah.
right now. And I think that yeah, it's just really about not letting external circumstances, people, things, places, whatever, like define you, or like, and you're like your moods, right? You're
Yeah.
like just like, or have the power to shift your moods or whatever, because like, and I think like that stepping over that hurdle is that ultimate growth, you know, that we like all kind of want to be at. And I think that especially right now in the times when like, you know, everything is so uncertain, from COVID to just like what is even happening, you know, with our government or vaccines or whatever may have you. I think that it's just so important to, yeah, not let like all of these external circumstances, these things like rattle us, you know?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, yeah, that's perfect. I read something this morning about just like being really holding on to our goals. So just like being really strong with our goals, but flexible with our approach, right?
Yeah.
So being able to just like bend and move and remembering to hold on to the desire and hold on to the goal. Hi, Teresa. And instead of letting go of the, oh, we were talking about letting go of the goal, like letting go of the resistance, letting go of the things that we're like so hard on, like it has to look a certain way. Like
Right.
it doesn't have to look a certain way. We just like keep on holding on to the desire of having that thing and allow the
Yeah.
other things to flow, even though it may not look in the box to which you thought it was going to be in.
Exactly. And I think that, like, I mean, honestly, that speaks a lot to even this, like, conversation that we're having, you know, this morning, because I think that, like, something about growth, like moving through growth is also kind of that, just moving through, like, that need to be perfect and like have everything be perfect before we move, before we feel like we can move.
Yeah.
And I think part of a huge part of growth, a huge hurdle in growth, like a, what do you call it, milestone or whatever,
Yeah.
is just like, all right, you know what, like, I'm gonna put this out even if it's not absolutely perfect. Or like today, I'm gonna just move through this and give this talk even if like Wi-Fi shuts off or things go crazy, you know,
Yeah.
because like what's really important is like your own consistency, your own, like what you're trying to, you know, like your relationship with you and how you're trying to like better that each day. And
Yeah.
I think that like if you can better that in a small way, even if it's hard, or even if you feel like you're pushing past that resistance, and even if it's like, if it seems like everything's going wrong or whatever, like I keep reminding myself that, you know what, everything is temporary, and this is just a moment in time, and this is just how I'm feeling right now, or this is just something that's happening right now, and this isn't always, and this is a part of growth, and I'm moving through it, and like, you know, and I'll remember this time, you know, and what can I learn from this time.
Yeah.
But to me, it's also like I really wanted to bring this topic up because I just feel like not enough is spoken on. Just like, you know, everyone says like growth is uncomfortable, there's discomfort in growth, but it can feel like really just like it can feel really bad sometimes. And I think
Yeah.
that that's what like deters people from moving forward with it, you know, from like keeping go to just like continuously going, because it's hard, it doesn't feel good sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I think actually I got this from, I'm pretty sure I got this from the Law of Attraction. Just remembering, and also the 7 habits of highly effective
Oh
people.
yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. I just remember reading back at my notes and just, and I know I said it here too about like emotions being the map and not the, do you remember me talking about this? Emotions being the map and not what it is. So for example, like if you think about this is going to go off for a little second. If you think about like the map of Los Angeles, we're in LA, and well, Brett's been in LA. And if you think about the map of Los Angeles, it's showing you different things and like, you know, where different areas are and where some of the highlights of, you know, the big cities are, whatever. And actually, but when you look at it, it's actually not Los Angeles. It's just the map of Los Angeles. And like when we think about our emotions are actually just like showing us different areas and showing us directions. And it's not us though. It's not us. So we get to like look at it as an observer and check out like what is it trying to show us? What direction is it trying to point us? And what is it trying to reveal? And that was so helpful for me because it's just remembering like to not avoid it and not push it away. Not like, okay, yes, all these things are happening and I feel sad, but I'm just going to look a different way. No, like, what is it actually trying to show me? Where is it, you know, and like kind of like welcome it, really, like lean into it. So it can actually show me where I'm out of alignment.
I love that. Lean into it. That's so key. And that's like also just something that I've been thinking about a lot too, because I think that that's so key and so much a part of it, because it's like, yeah, you have to like lean into something higher, whether you want to call that a higher knowing of yourself, a higher, like just a unshakable belief in yourself, or a trust in yourself, or whatever. And it's like you have to hold on to those things and lean on those things versus like leaning on the external world and like connecting, like, you know, clinging to the external world and like clinging to the to what the external world is saying you should do, what you should think, how you should act, how you should do this, how your workflow should look, you know, because the external world, if like, I mean, in the entrepreneurial world, it tells you like hustle's great, like, you know, just grind, like, but if that's not for you, if that workflow doesn't work for you, then you have to, you know, figure out what does.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love that. And then is Ani?
Yeah, that's outside though.
Love that. And then you know what? That's exactly what it is. Like when you're able to notice all of those things, like kind of like you're talking about hustle, and those other ways of being like, okay, noticing how we're feeling in that, right? Noticing like what it's doing, noticing if we're feeling drained or are we feeling built up? Because after you're doing a lot of production, usually you should feel like, oh my God, yeah, I'm progressing. It's moving. It's great. But if you're like at the end feeling burnt out and tired, like what is there that's not aligned? What is there that's draining your energy? Because we were talking about energy before. We were talking about how you can sit with a friend and talk to someone for like an hour. It goes by and just like, oh my God, I'm feeling so inspired. It feels like great. It feels like great energy. And then you can sit with someone else and you just feel after the end of that conversation, feel drained and not so good. So it's just like, what are the two different things? Like one area we can feel so much energy and another area we can feel like, you know, not. So
yeah. And I think that it's just like, yeah, like that's so key. And I think just even when you're alone and moving through things and moving through a workflow, if you don't feel like, if you're feeling like angry or frustrated or just like not the best version of yourself, then I think you have to check in with yourself. You have to do a self check-in, and you have to be like, well, why do I feel this way? Because like, if you're really in alignment, and if you're really moving, and if you're present, and if you're in alignment with your self-love, and you're, you know, grounded, then you wouldn't feel that. You wouldn't feel frustrated. You wouldn't feel angry. You wouldn't feel like anxious. Like, so when you feel those things, I think they are like roadmaps to like, okay, maybe I need to readjust some things, or maybe I need to take some time and like unplug and meditate before I go back to work, before I hop back into this project. Because I think that, like, you know, it's just, you have to trust your, this is what I really learned, you have to trust your gut feelings more so than these, almost more so than like the words that you are saying to yourself or whatever. Because like, say you're trying to get like a bunch of new clients or whatever, and you're like, yes, I can get all these clients, I'm gonna get all these new clients, like I believe I can. But you have to really like tap into yourself, and as you're saying that, like, how is your stomach feeling? Like, how is your chest feeling? Like, and if they're tight or contracting or like feel uneasy, then you don't truly believe that. You're not truly believing your words.
Right.
And like, so you have to adjust your body and like your inner being and get that in alignment before those things can really come to you, because you don't really believe it. And I think like we have to, as a society, put less weight on words and more weight on like, you know, inner feeling tones. And like, because sometimes, you know, the unseen is more profound than the seen, like than things we can see and touch. And like, I think that that's just like a huge
111%, says Christina.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think that like that's a huge thing that I just like took note of in moving through my growth, I think, this week. And like when I'm saying these affirmations, when I'm affirming myself, and when I'm saying what I want, like A, B, or C, then I like get quiet, get still, and I'm like, okay, but is my body really believing these things?
Right.
Do I internally really, really believe that these things are possible for me, and that I am as limitless as I am saying?
Right.
Because if that isn't aligning, you know, then that's a
key like roadmap to like, all right, I have some more work to do.
Right.
Okay, I need to readjust these things. And I feel like that's what growth is. And like, you know, society also has a kind of just like a glossed over like look or viewpoint on what growth is. And it's not easy, it's hard, and it's like gross sometimes and just like uncomfortable and icky, but you know, it's temporary and it'll bring you to another level, and then it's just life, you know. And yeah, I think that's all I got my input for today. Do you have anything else?
As you were saying that, I was thinking something. Oh yeah, this is what I was thinking. Like kind of just like totally along with what you're saying, that we have to believe, right? And then when we don't, like, what are we doing? And I love that you're just like, okay, doing this internal temperature. And then what Esther and Jerry Hicks always talking is just like finding the next feeling thought. Okay, what do you believe, and how can you like start on this ladder of belief? Like, okay, maybe I don't believe that I'm limited. Yeah, this I think I made that one up, so I'm gonna just give myself credit for that.
That's great.
But it is true. It's just like, okay, how can I get on the next step? It's just like, okay, maybe I don't believe I'm limitless, but I believe I'm unique. You know, like just start there. Like it could be just the baby step of what that is, and just like, okay, I'm unique, and what's for me is for me, and what I'm here to do, like no one else is here to do. You know, like I was born on this time, this energy, this between these parents, like I have this opportunity, and like what's me is always for me. Like, you know, just starting there, and then like keep on going to where like, like build on top of it, and
because it's a process.
Have that evolution. So hopefully that's helpful. That's like what we try to do. Yeah.
You made me think of one more thing, which is just like, you know, as you're on that process, also just and you come up against hurdles, just remind yourself that like, you know, the universe is for me, never against me. Like all my needs are met. I lack nothing, because like that's really true. And I think if you don't believe that, or if you have an internal doubt about that, I heard this metaphor that's like, just kind of like thinking about yourself like as a baby, or thinking about a baby or an infant. Like, you know, infants or babies, they have an knowing that they're just taken care of, like, right? They feel safe, they feel secure, they know that like they are guided, guarded, and protected. They're not anxious, they're not worried or whatever, they're carried. And it's like, we think that we're not as we grow because, I don't know, we're older or something, but no, we're all okay, like everything is gonna be okay. But the thing is, we just doubt that, and we don't believe that, and then the more we doubt that and don't believe that, like that spirals, you know, and like just creates more circumstances that make us doubt it more. So I think that if we progressively climb that ladder of like self-belief, like that is a huge, you know, flow and process of like getting through that discomfort of growth, you know.
Right. And hi Sherry. Sherry's here. Yeah, Brett, that's like, I feel a little scattered today, and that's
we're a little scattered today,
like,
but it's okay.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what is true, and I feel like we keep on just putting fuel and water into the bank, and we just the last thing we're talking about is like consistency, right? Like showing up. And as we continue to show up and kind of move through, and even show up for when those things are happening, right? Show up for the growth, show up for the sad, like whatever is happening, just keep on like showing up. And we're talking about leaning in. But
and
the more and more we show up, the more and more we show up, we just show up. Sometimes that's the faith part, that's the trust part, that's the belief part. That even on these days that may not seem so significant, that they actually are still putting like money in the bank kind of thing. Still putting deposits into the faith, and deposits into the trust that it'll still keep on going.
Yeah, because even like if you can't just show up when everything's perfect, right?
Those are the things that counts the most.
Yeah. Or that might like impact people the most. You don't because you just decided to show up as your imperfect, you know, authentic self. And regardless of like how it might look or be seen to others, like you decide to show up, and it's like because you decide to do that, you're already an example of like, you know, how other people can do that too.
Right. Thank you for breathing life into me to show up as intended today. Love that.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like life is imperfect. It's messy. Being an entrepreneur is imperfect. It's messy. Like it's not a straight line to success. It's like here, 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 and everywhere else. But yeah, I think as long as you can like just have that belief in yourself enough to like show the world your imperfection and your just like authenticity and just like be you no matter what, I think that like the growth process becomes a bit easier, you know, and it becomes a bit more fluid. So yeah, we definitely went over 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, so we're probably good. Okay, but we love you guys. Have an awesome rest of the Friday. Happy Fempreneur Friday, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
And be your beautiful, authentic selves today and do you.
Bye.
Bye.